Two girls are sending Bibles to hurricane victims because that's what they need. Hemant Mehta, the friendly atheist on Pathos, says, I sometimes get messages saying I'm not very friendly. Sure I am, I respond, but that shouldn't stop me from criticizing bad ideas. That's so much easier to do when the subjects of the criticism aren't adorable little kids. Two sisters from Georgia, who are 8 and 9, saw the destruction that Hurricanes Harvey and Irma caused and knew they wanted to do something to help out. Their solution? Sending Bibles. Because when homes are destroyed and cities are flooded, I guess they think people will need some reading material. I get it. Some people think that prayers and sending Bibles are actually doing something. I will never ask or tell anyone what to believe or not, but there is one concept that has always worked for me and anyone I know, is that action is doing something. Well-wishing, including prayers, does nothing tangible. Remember the Templeton Foundation that did an extensive and costly double-blind study on the efficacy of prayer. If not, please see links in the description. The published null results of the study actually showed that the people who knew they were being prayed for fared worse. I'll quote the New York Times here. Prayers offered by strangers had no effect on the recovery of people who were undergoing heart surgery, a large and long-awaited study has found. And patients who knew they were being prayed for had a higher rate of post-operative complications like abnormal heart rhythms, perhaps because of the expectations the prayers created, the researchers suggested. Of course, it wasn't their study, it wasn't the prayers, it was the expectations. Okay, getting back to this article by Hemant, members of the East Brainerd Church of Christ, the sisters decided to collect money for Bibles. The girls planned to ship them to churches in the affected areas so leaders can give them to their parishioners. We think it's important because we can use it to tell people, give them encouraging words and things like that. I can see it now. The hurricane God created just destroyed everything around us. So here's a book that explains why God loves you. I'm sorry you lost everything. Here's a book about genocide to make you feel better about your life. Hey, I was raised in a conservative Christian home, and the one thing, with all the complaining about welfare cheats, freeloading, and people beating the system, the one thing that was loud and clear, if you want to get something done, don't sit around on your ass waiting for it to happen. Do it. I believe the same applies to those that truly mean well but are misguided in their small efforts. You can't blame the kids here, and I don't. They mean well. But somewhere along the line, adults told them this was a great idea. Of course. Their parents or pastor says Bibles, not clothes or food or money, were what hurricane victims needed the most, and helped the kids set up a GoFundMe page. The local news affiliate saw this as a feel-good story and gave them free publicity.
The urge to help Irma victims reaches even the youngest members of our community. Two sisters from Dalton are raising money to buy Bibles for people who lost everything in the storm.
These two little girls with big hearts to fundraise for Harvey and Irma victims. They'll use the money they collect to buy Bibles for the people who lost it all. Once the collection is done and the notes are finished, the girls' parents will help them mail the Bibles to churches in hurricane-affected areas.
Thoughts and prayers would do more for victims than sending them books they have no place to keep. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think thoughts and prayers are very useful. I know some people feel comforted by them. But think about this. If well-wishing could achieve anything, we wouldn't have to spend billions on disaster recovery. If your prayers were answered, then you wouldn't need a God. You'd be a God. Instead of picking on the religious-minded about their genuine kind thoughts, I say this: do something useful. Get off your ass and do something. Goodbye. Having lived through a natural disaster myself, thoughts and prayers and Bibles did not help me or my family. Thank you.